Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are going to build out the complete career blueprint for a role that's absolutely crucial and incredibly rewarding, the Occupational Safety and Health Officer. You know, this quote really hits the nail on the head. If you want to become an occupational safety and health officer, it's about so much more than a checklist. It's about responsibility, authority, and true compliance. And that's exactly what this blueprint is designed to show you. We're going to break down what this role is really all about, what qualifications you actually need, and how you can build a successful long-term career in this vital field. All right, every good blueprint needs a solid foundation, right? So let's start right there. Let's really define the mission and the mandate. What exactly is an occupational safety and health officer, and what's their core purpose? So, at its heart, an occupational safety and health officer is a professional who's responsible for making sure a workplace follows all the safety regulations, like the ones from OSHA, to stop injuries and illnesses before they happen. But you gotta understand, this role has changed a lot. It's not just about walking around with a clipboard and enforcing rules anymore. It's become this proactive, strategic role. Honestly, it's essential for any modern company that takes its responsibilities seriously. And their mission? Well, it's a big one. It's to promote and maintain the highest possible degree of well-being for workers, physically, mentally, and socially. It's this really cool mix of engineering, medicine, hygiene, and even psychology. Because when it comes right down to it, the whole point is to protect a company's most valuable asset, its people. Okay, so we know the why. Now, let's get into the what. What does an occupational safety and health officer actually do day to day? Let's break down the daily blueprint, the core responsibilities that really define this job. So you can see here, it's this constant cycle, right? You're conducting risk assessments, you're doing site inspections, and when something does happen, you're investigating incidents to find the root cause. But you're also developing safety programs, training employees, and making sure all the OSHA paperwork is in order. It's all designed to get ahead of the problem, to identify and control hazards before they cause any harm. It's all about prevention, not just reaction. Now, this is what I find really fascinating. Look at the balance here. On one hand, you absolutely need the technical skills. You have to know OSHA standards inside and out. But all that knowledge isn't worth much if you don't have the soft skills to back it up. Being able to communicate effectively, to lead, to influence people, and to build trust, that's what separates a good occupational safety and health officer from a truly great one. Okay, so we've got this mix of technical know-how and people skills. So the big question is, how do you actually get qualified for this role? Let's dive into the credentials. We're talking about the education and certification path you'll need to follow. While it's definitely possible to get into this field with a high school diploma, the data here is pretty clear. Almost half of the pros in this field have a bachelor's degree, usually in something like science or engineering. And it makes sense, right? That higher education often opens the doors to more senior roles and bigger responsibilities down the line. And this chart, this really lays out the certification ladder perfectly. The Board of Certified Safety Professionals, or BCSP, they have a really clear progression. You might start out with something like the OHST for a more hands-on technical role. From there, you could move to the ASP, the Associate Safety Professional. And the ultimate goal for many, that's the CSP, the Certified Safety Professional. It's pretty much considered the gold standard in this industry. So this is what that journey typically looks like. First, you get a relevant degree. Then you get your hands dirty. You gain at least a year of real-world safety experience that allows you to go for your ASP certification. After a few more years, with 4 years of total experience under your belt, you can then take the final step and earn that prestigious CSP certification. It's a really methodical process that makes sure every occupational safety and health officer has both the book smarts and the practical on-the-ground experience. All right, so you've got the education, you've got the certifications. Now, where can this career actually take you? Let's talk about the different workplaces and the potential for growth. And this is the cool part. The skills of an occupational safety and health officer are needed pretty much everywhere. We're talking construction sites, manufacturing plants, healthcare, oil and gas, even corporate offices and government agencies. I mean, think about it. The need to keep workers safe is universal. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. And of course, that high demand means there is solid earning potential. The median annual wage right now is around $84,000, and that number really reflects the huge amount of responsibility and specialized knowledge that goes into this job every single day. And this isn't a dead-end job, not by a long shot. There's a really clear growth path. You might start as a safety technician or coordinator. Then you move up to become an occupational safety and health officer or specialist. From there, you can step into management, maybe as an EHS manager. And eventually, you could find yourself in an executive role as a corporate safety director, overseeing the entire safety program for a company.
Okay, but let's be real. It's not all smooth sailing. This role definitely has its challenges, and just like the workplace itself, those challenges are constantly evolving.
And these challenges right here, this is exactly why those soft skills we talked about are so incredibly important. You're constantly balancing the pressure to produce with the need to keep people safe. You have to overcome resistance to change, and you've got to get buy-in from everyone, from senior leadership all the way down to the frontline workers. It takes real influence and resilience. This brings us to a really important question for any modern safety professional. Is this job only about protecting people from physical risks? Things like slips, trips, falls, or chemical exposures? And the answer is a resounding no. The field is expanding. The future of this profession is all about protecting the total well-being of workers. That means we're now talking about psychosocial risks, things like burnout from high workloads, or the isolation that comes with remote work. Protecting people's psychological health is quickly becoming a core part of the job. So after all that, how do you actually get started? How do you begin building your own career as an occupational safety and health officer? Well, let's lay out your blueprint for success. Okay, here it is, your personal action plan. This is a clear step-by-step path you can literally start on today. Start with some foundational training, like an OSHA 10 or 30-hour course. Study the standards for an industry that interests you. Then, get some hands-on experience, maybe an internship or an entry-level role. From there, you can focus on your documentation skills and start planning for a professional certification. It's a straightforward path to building a successful and really impactful career as an occupational safety and health officer. This quote really brings it all home. An occupational safety and health officer isn't just there to enforce rules. They are the frontline defense. They're there to prevent injuries, to protect lives, and to build a safety culture that's strong and resilient.
And that's our blueprint. For more professional safety career guidance and some deep dives into OSHA compliance, make sure you subscribe to HSE Study to stay ahead of the curve in workplace safety. Thanks so much for joining us for this explainer.